Guys, breaking news, IRCC has finally announced the big change with regards to express entry. Bill C-19 is finally being rolled out. The selection based, the category based draws are ready to be rolled out. IRCC has announced the categories also, what kind of draws that they will be holding, the whole change around Bill C-19, and how are they planning to overhaul the express entry system completely. Guys, trust me, this is one of the biggest change that has happened with regards to Canadian immigration with the past couple of years, and this could also be one of the biggest changes going forward in the years to come. So if you are a Canadian immigration aspirant, this is one news that you do not want to miss. Please be tuned till the end. My name is Sahil. Guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is the channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So guys, we are discussing the biggest breaking news with regards to Canadian immigration in the past couple of weeks and months, and this is pertaining to express entry and the Bill C-19 that was announced by IRCC in the past times, and they are finally ready to roll out the changes. Guys, IRCC as promised said that they would be implementing Bill C-19 in the spring of 2023, and guess what, today is the last date of spring and they have finally announced this change, which is the May 31st of 2023. Guys, this change is going to be rolled out for the next couple of months, years probably, and this is going to impact almost all the express entry applicants, including people who want to potentially do permanent residence applications in the years to come. So this change could probably start having a roller coaster impact on all the other categories as well. We don't know what that could be, but let's just focus on this particular change today. Now guys, as per Bill C-19, IRCC was supposed to start selecting candidates from the express entry based on certain criteria. Now that criteria could have been based on language, country of residence, occupations, years of experience and all of that. And IRCC, as per that Bill C-19, was supposed to report it to the parliament on a regular basis as to what are the kind of people that they would be selecting, so that people could be well prepared in advance. Now, as promised by IRCC, the Immigration Department of Canada, they have finally notified today that for the year 2023, they are ready to disclose the categories that they will be using going forward in terms of inviting people from the express entry pools. Now, first, let's look at what are the categories. Now, IRCC says the categories are first French speaking or the French language proficiency, which they will be using to identify people from the express entry pool. The second category is healthcare occupations. Then we have science, technology, engineering and math, STEM occupations. You have trade occupations, you have transport occupations, and then you have agriculture and agri-food occupations. These are the top 6 categories that IRCC says that they will be focusing on in the year 2023 whenever they will be holding the draws. And in terms of people within these categories, the highest ranking categories or the people would be picked up from the pool and invited for permanent residence. Now, as they clearly say that they will look at the poll altogether, these 6 categories, and then there are knock codes also. Now, there are occupations. I will just tell you what occupations there are, but people within these 6 categories and within these occupations will be picked up from the pool. Top ranking candidates will be invited. Now what that means is that if they are invited, if these 6 categories are priority, that means draws for the other categories will go higher. For example, if say top 100 IT people, top 100 truck drivers and top 100 nurses are picked up, then that means the quota kept for marketing professionals, finance professionals and everybody else gets depleted. That means their cutoffs will go higher. Okay, so yes, this is going to have a large impact globally. Now people will start questioning that how this is going to work out and how is it going to impact us. Now first, before we get into that topic, let's just look at what are the occupations that IRCC is going to select. Now first is the people with language in French, the proficiency in French language. They say that French language test results that will show a minimum score of 7 in all 4 language abilities, which includes listening, speaking, reading and writing. They should meet the requirements of the instruction round that will happen on that day. They will be invited for PR, and obviously this is one of the priority categories. And they also say that the full eligibility details will be available in the instruction for each round. So every round could have a separate eligibility requirement that will be displayed on that particular day whenever the round happens. Now the first one to look at is the healthcare professionals. Now within the healthcare professionals or the occupations, we have audiologists and speech language practitioners, pathologists, we have chiropractors, dentists, dietitians and nutritionists, education counselors, we have general practitioners and family physicians, instructors of person with disabilities, and then we have kinesiologists and other professional occupations in therapy. Then we have licensed practical nurses and massage therapists, nurse aides, optometrists, and we have other assisting occupations, and we have people in natural healing practitioners, so say for example people in homeopathy and everything. Then we have other technical occupations in therapy and assessment, paramedical occupations, pharmacy, physiotherapist, physiologist, psychologist. Then you have respiratory therapist and clinical perfusionist. Then you have specialists in surgery, therapists in counseling, traditional Chinese medicine and veterinarians, and then specialists in clinical and laboratory medicine. Now if you talk about science, technology, engineering and math, which is STEM, in this we have architects and science managers, business system specialists, you have civil engineers, computer information system managers, computer engineers except software and designers. Then you have computer system developer, programmers, cyber security specialists, data scientists, database analysts. Then you have electrical and electronics engineers, engineering managers. Then you have landscape architects, metallurgical, you have software developers and programmers, then software engineers, urban and land use planners, web designers, web developers and programmers, so which is good. Now within the trade occupations, you have people who are residential and commercial installers and servicers, elevator constructors and mechanics, machine fitters, heating and refrigeration, then construction and millwrights, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, welders, contractors and supervisor of construction trades, they are also invited. Then you have transport occupations. Now within transport, you have aircraft assemblers, transport truck drivers, so truck drivers, great news, railway traffic controllers, engineering office and water transport. Then you have deck officers, water transport, you have air traffic controllers, air pilots, then you have aircraft mechanics, railway carmen, managers in transportation, so that is also there. Finally, in the agriculture category, you have contractors and supervisors, landscaping, ground maintenance and horticulture. Then you have agriculture service contractors and farm supervisors. Then you have butchers who are there in retail and wholesale. Guys, these are the categories, the 6 broad categories that we are talking about. 5 are occupation based and 1 is language based. Now within this, you have to understand that IRCC will be blending in the scores as well. So it's not just about people who have the occupation. So I'll tell you. So for example, French speakers, top 100. I'm just giving you an example. Truck drivers or the transport category, top 500 people. STEM, which is science, technology and everybody, so top 1000 people. And then they could have say 100 people from agriculture and 100 people from trades. Now the draws going forward could be all of these or some of these categories, obviously paid to the top performers, and then we are expecting there could be an all program draw as well. So say for example top 1000 people, otherwise no program specific, they could have a blend as well. Okay, now we are not sure how the draws are going to look like or the rounds of invitation are going to look like. We'll have to wait for the first round of invitation to come through, but IRCC has clearly declared that they are going to make specific these category based draws. They could also look at only having these categories and nobody else. We don't know yet. Let's just look at the first round of invitation that is probably going to happen next week, and that will give us much more clarity as to what is going to happen, because IRCC said that they will be holding draws starting the summer of 2023, which is June. So June, the summer starts, you'll start seeing the draws based on these categories. Now guys, IRCC has gone further in the announcement to explain what made them choose the categories, and they said that based on the labor reports and the projection and also their stakeholder inputs, based on all of these inputs they decided the categories on, and then they have taken the responsibility to report these invitations and the success and everything in a year-end express entry report as well, and they will also submit this report in the express entry every year. They will talk about how they chose the categories, what was the performance, how many people were invited, and what are the categories for the next year, and they will be displayed on the IRCC website every year. So this year could be these categories, next year they could change the categories as well. So nobody has to be disheartened. If your category is not in the in the focus this year, it could be there next year. That doesn't mean that you should be disheartened. You should also put in your file, because even though the number for an all program draw could be lower, but it will still be there, right? So you should definitely try. Another thing to note is, for people who are there outside Canada could think of now moving to inside Canada based on programs like a study permit or a work permit, LMIA exempt, because that ways they could first come to Canada and then make use of the other PNP programs and the other permanent residence pathways that there are, right? So express entry is not the only pathway, so no need to be disheartened. It is one of the main pathways for sure, but there are other pathways to use as well. So feel free to use that. I know a lot of people who are in the administrative occupations, in marketing, finance, insurance, and senior managers. I'm sure a lot of people must be now thinking and must be disheartened. Nothing to be worried about. We have other pathways which we can discuss with you. First, let's look at the draw that happens based on the selection categories. Guys, all in all, I think this is a big news. Hearty congratulations to people who are already working in these experiences, and they will be ready to fire up with their invitations going forward. Don't be happy because we don't know how many people are invited in these draws, because that is still to be seen. But overall, this is Bill C-19 for you. It has been declared out in the open, and like I always said to tons of people whom I have spoken to already, that IRCC will lay focus on technology, because it's definitely very important. Engineers, then we require healthcare practitioners, we require transport truck drivers, tradespeople. So I am not surprised by the kind of categories that they have decided, because this was pretty much expected from them. And also, I have repeatedly told in my videos that French language can actually take you par. So they once again validated that point. So I'm not surprised with the kind of categories they've drawn. So I am happy that I could really predict that. Now going forward, we'll just have to see what kind of draws and what kind of scores and cutoffs that come around, so that people get invited. Guys, you should really focus on putting your file in the express entry at the system. Do not miss a single draw. Have your file in the system. If you want to discuss your case, if you want to put up your file with us, feel free to schedule a consultation, and we would be more than happy to discuss your case going forward and put your file in the system for a permanent residence. Guys, we wish you all the best, and we really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.